Hey, welcome in. Well, the term Orwellian is thrown around a lot these days, and 1984 is referenced often. I've referenced it myself quite a lot as of late. I just reread 1984, and I will say that the modern world makes Orwell seem more brilliant than ever. In fact, with modern culture, it's almost impossible to misuse the word Orwellian. And here's the headline. Webster's redefined sexual preference after Amy Coney Barry used it to match leftist talking points. And this is from The Federalist. Now, this is what Winston Smith did in 1984. He was rewriting history. He was changing facts. He was rewriting history in real time, just like Webster's dictionary. You know, if there was a fact that needed to be changed to match what Big Brother was saying now, Winston Smith changed it. And Webster's is doing the exact same thing here, only in the name of wokeness or political correctness or whatever you want to call it. Anyway, let's get into this. The online version of Merriam Webster Dictionary changed the definition of sexual preference on the same day that senators scolded Judge Amy Coney Barrett for her use of the word during day 2 of the confirmation hearings. You may ask yourself, well, when did sexual preference become offensive? What, like yesterday? Yes, yesterday. That's when it happened. And Merriam Webster Dictionary did in real life what the fictional Winston Smith did in the novel 1984. And I've said in the past that, that book was meant to be a warning, not a handbook. Anyway, it says here, when questioned by Democratic senators on the Judiciary Committee on Obergefell versus Hodges, which decreed a constitutional right to same-sex marriage, Senators Mazie Hirono and Cory Booker, that's Spartacus, I don't remember, he's Spartacus, reprimanded Barrett for using the term sexual preference, claiming that it was outdated and offensive. And another thing I keep piping on about is that the left now, and from the left I exclude like classical liberals or like traditional liberals, people who believe in free speech and objectivity and that sort of thing. I'm excluding them, but the modern left can just suddenly decide that, like right now, something that was fine yesterday is now totally verboten. It's just terrible. It's the worst thing, and it always has been. And how do you know it always has been? Well, you can go to the dictionary, the online dictionary here, and it'll tell you. It says the term sexual preference, as used to refer to sexual orientation, is widely considered offensive in its implied suggestion that a person can choose who they are sexually or romantically attracted to. So they're telling us it's widely considered offensive. Was it though? I wasn't aware of that. Were you aware of that? I thought that was just normal usage. Is that actually true? Is that page always said that? Well, don't ask that question, you bigot. And there you have the strategy. Anyway, it goes on. While Barrett apologized for the alleged error, which she shouldn't have done. She shouldn't have apologized. Saying that she meant no harm to anyone by using the widely adopted terminology, which is totally normal. The leftist senators complained that Barrett's use of the word indicates her personal beliefs about the case ruling. And she said, quote, I certainly didn't mean and would never mean to use a term that would cause any offense in the alphabet community. If I did, I greatly apologize, Barrett clarified. And here's Steve Krakauer. As recently as last month, Webster's dictionary included a definition of preference as orientation or sexual preference. Today, they changed it and added the word offensive. Insane. I just checked through Wayback Machine, and it's real. And here we can see the change. So, number 5 here, orientation, sense to be, sexual preference. And then, miraculously, it was changed to offensive. See usage paragraph below. Orientation, sense to be, sexual preference. They just added it in. They went, oh no, we'd better cover. We'd better start rewriting history right now. And of course, because this was just suddenly changed, because, there's an attempt to just immediately rewrite history, well, there's actually still a lot of evidence around that would contradict that. Just going to interrupt for 1 second to say, if you like this content, subscribe so you can see more. Thanks a lot. Despite Democrats' claims that Barrett gravely misspoke and that her words warranted an apology, many Democratic politicians, including presidential nominee Joe Biden and Senate Judiciary Committee members Dick Durbin and Richard Blumenthal, recently used the word in public settings and received no pushback. And that's because it was just common usage. Nobody knew it was offensive until, right now. And there's a bunch of examples people on Twitter have put out. Ruth Bader Ginsburg, who Mazie Hirono called, quote, our champion on Monday, used the term sexual preference in 2017. Here's Leon Panetta, Obama's defense secretary in 2018 for CNN, about how Trump is not who we are since, quote, we are elected equal under God, regardless of our race, creed, religion, color, or sexual preference. Clearly a bigot. This one's pretty good. I really enjoyed this CNN article headlined, quote, what does gender fluid mean? Which includes this line, quote, being gender fluid doesn't determine a person's sexual preference. Apparently, what is considered offensive language, like gender, is fluid. And here is just, it's the thing. How does this apply to gender fluid people? I mean, if you can just decide one day you're one thing and then the next day you're another, why can't you do that with sexuality as well? None of this actually makes any sense. Let's see. Slate has also decided that the term sexual preference is offensive. Yet a simple Google search shows that the term has been used by Slate many times over the years. And just this year, they published something claiming that sexual preference can evolve over time. So if people can't choose their sexual preference, then how can it evolve? Doesn't make a lot of sense, but nothing in the left does. And here, we'll make this the last one, because I think this one is really puts a fine point on it. In case anyone believes any of the outrage today was in good faith, well, here we have the advocate using sexual preference. The advocate. So what can you say about this? I mean, Merriam Webster, rewrite history all you like. You're still not Big Brother quite yet. Anyway, that's all I got to say about that. Please subscribe, like, and share. That really helps me out. If you just like to listen, there's Radio Baloney, the podcast. It's on every platform, including iTunes. Thank you very much. I will see you next time.